Good morning. Today we have the daily energy reading. And I wanted to expand upon it because I see that it also connects to this storyline that we've been following, which I think is actually a soulmate collective. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I've put out a bunch of cards and then I had to move. I was doing the reading earlier and then I had to move. So I actually got a bunch more cards because more cards came as I was moving. So, so what I wanted to say initially was that, so if you've been following along, then you'll already know about the two halves. But if you haven't, then, and this resonates for you, there are two sides that I'm picking up on. So there's one side that is kind of giving red flag energy, basically. And there's another side that's giving curious, intuitive energy. Both sides are actually very good and healthy. It's just perception and what's happening in, people's lives that make them look chaotic. So there is the King of Swords and the Seven of Swords. Were the first cards to come out for this red flag energy. And basically what's developed over the past few days, which is exciting because there's been movement, there's been change, is a shift in decision making. The King of Swords, this side that was giving red flags and wasn't really open to being pursued or to doing anything at all, actually, just very much so wrapped up in their own energy and trying to figure out their life, has decided to move forward with a decision and has decided to bring something forward, to hold on to something that has meaning to them and bring that forward, move from a place directed by this desire, despite their circumstance, despite what's happening around them. So this could be multiple different scenarios. This could be someone deciding to reach out and say something, not necessarily to you. It's just a decision within their own life to reach out and say something, or to go forward with a proposal, or to pursue this opportunity, despite feeling overwhelmed by their situation, overwhelmed by their baggage, feeling unorganized, feeling unprepared, feeling like the bad guy, feeling like they have no right. Despite all of these feelings that hold them back and realities in their situation that would seemingly hold them back, the chaos of their reality, despite that, they are deciding to move forward. So this is really positive energy overall, because it's basically a decision to not allow your surroundings and your environment to overwhelm you when you're in a state of chaos. The overarching energy for this person is the Ten of Swords. So they're going through an ending. They're going through like a closing out period, which is why this is like jam-packed energy, and probably why they have a lot of baggage around them and are not able to always think very clearly, and don't even feel super secure within themselves to move forward and make a decision that might impact people beyond them, because they just want to keep their situation contained and be responsible for themselves. And I think that there's a defensiveness around letting other people in because you don't want other people to be affected by their mess. Please keep in mind that this other people doesn't necessarily mean you. I'm not even sure if they're aware of the other half that is mirroring them. It's just, this is their life and this is what's happening for them. So yeah, this person also seems to be somebody who is in business and who is an entrepreneur, who might work for themselves or is independent and mature in one way or another, fiscally, career-wise. They seem to be like, that's a dominant energy coming through for them. That could also be where there's a lot of shifts and changes happening right now. It could be in their career, in their independence. They could be making a shift, a change in that space. And yeah, as this is like a shift in power, and changing dynamics, changing roles. So that's what's going on their side. They, despite their situation, despite the chaos of their circumstances, they've made a decision to move forward. Towards what? I don't know. Now, on the other half side, the side that is a little bit more intuitive and is able to sense this energy, and probably wants to move towards it, but also feels like there's a bit of a block and you probably aren't able to move as towards it as you would like. On your side, there is this energy, the overarching energy is the Four of Swords, which means rest, recovery, slowing down so that you don't burn out, or trying to. So right now, that side is in a state of trying to embrace the quiet, trying to embrace the isolation, the slowness of life, the slow pace, and gearing up for change, gearing up for movement. You rest now because you know that what's ahead of you is an entire journey. And so you're trying to receive your healing and your recuperation. I think that that is happening as it should. Like it's a balancing act, which is why you're represented by Temperance. But I think in your own energy, there's a lot swirling around, a lot of possibilities and potential swirling around, but nothing that quite has nothing's quite been finalized. But there's a lot of things that are up in the air that are probably going to come down to reach you pretty soon. It's just a matter of time. I see like progression in work, in schooling, education with the Eight of Pentacles, with your own form of independence with the Empress. Oh my God, we have divine counterparts here. The Empress and the Emperor. I didn't even realize. I didn't even realize that. That's so funny. And the Three of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles, I would say are counterpart energy. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune versus the King of Pentacles. What's beneath that? The Seven of Cups, which could be reflective of the Wheel of Fortune. It's abundance of options, but you have to choose one. Yeah, there's a lot of mirroring happening here, even though it doesn't necessarily look like it. There is a mirroring in the energy, but it's healthy because everybody's got their own independent story, which is what you want. You know, you don't want to be so entangled that it's like you can't separate the two, especially when they're not together yet, because that just means that you're too in your head and you're not really grounded in your own life. So I like the fact that these are different stories that are happening, and that there's not necessarily a big push for like love or for something like that to come together. There's just simply movement on their independent paths, without, understanding that ultimately there is a union story being reflected here. So the other thing to be aware of is that this Temperance energy, which represents the other half, could represent the feminine, but doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to represent the women or the feminine. It's just that that's the dominating energy here. Right now, that energy is also able to see themselves in the King of Swords energy, but maybe through a part of themselves that they haven't become very comfortable with. Because I think that there's also a judgment call, or a judgment is happening for Temperance, because the Seven of Swords and the King of Swords energy on the other side, that red flag energy, what makes somebody look unappealing or bad or blocked off or resistant, non-committal, or even just abrasive and aggressive, that energy is reflective of actually a deeper strength, a deeper power that's shown in the King of Swords. And air energy is really powerful here. And I think that there is a bit of a recognizing of that, recognizing the way that when like, before you can reach the King of Swords or the Queen of Swords, you have to experience the Seven of Swords and the Five of Swords. And I think that each side is moving through that energy, and each side understands the struggle of trying to present your inner King of Swords, your Queen of Swords, while it might come across as Seven of Swords, Five of Swords. So there's just a deeper understanding of what it feels like to be misunderstood, and to kind of look, to have what people first assume about you, or what things look like, not be reflective of the truth. I also think that a lot of the healing that is happening here, and a lot of what's being worked out here, is happening mentally and emotionally. But mostly like mentally, I think a lot of this is being worked out in air energy, because swords is the dominant thing outside of pentacles. So like a lot of mental rest is needed right now, and a lot of focus, though, is being put towards what's happening next. Like, your focus could be on what's coming up into my life next, career-wise, but the spiritual focus right now is mental rest and mental release, so that these King of Swords and Queen of Swords can emerge from a place where they are not perceived by the Seven of Swords and the Five of Swords, which is always the negative perception of sword energy. Overall, there's like a grounding happening here, and a release and a liberation happening here for both sides. For the Temperance side, there's more of a liberation energy happening, and for the King of Swords, Seven of Swords side, there's more of a grounding energy and movement, going through the motions, getting out of this place of stuck energy into like a bit of a portal space, kind of like Four of Swords energy, and then ultimately to the ending. So that's basically all that I wanted to add to this conversation for now.